talk about Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is actually based on, it's based on a fake trailer for a movie that came out with Grindhouse. Do you remember the Grindhouse movie with Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino? Kind of made these mini feature films, and there's a bunch of fake trailers in that presentation. Well, Thanksgiving is something that Eli Roth put together as a fake trailer. He has now spent 16 years trying to get this movie made, and boy, does it deliver. Let me just say, I mean, it's, first of all, it starts out, of course, on the holiday of Thanksgiving. And it's, you know, everybody's getting ready for the midnight opening for Black Friday sale. Everybody gets a free waffle iron. The first 100 customers get a waffle iron, and it's nuts. You see a family on Thanksgiving. Gina Gershon is there, and you meet kind of the guy who's the head of this company, which is like sort of like a Best Buy. What's his name? Rick Hoffman plays this character who is Rick Hoffman, an actor that you will recognize. Patrick Dempsey is the sheriff of the town, and Tim Dillon is a guy who works at this Best Buy type store. And I love Tim Dillon. He is a frequent guest on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he also does his own podcast. He is hysterical, and he's basically just Tim Dillon in this. You meet a bunch of kids with forgettable names. They're all high school kids with forgettable names, and they go to a Black Friday sale that ends up being a disaster. It ends with people dying, people people, you know, trampling over people to get that free waffle iron. It's just insane. It's the first 20 minutes. It's the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie. And it is so fun because it's so over the top. Eli Roth with the gore just goes way over the top. I mean, you could describe this as a horror slasher film, and it's definitely horror slasher. Because there's a character, this axe-wielding maniac, and it's all set in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and he's got this mask of like one of the pilgrims, and he's off killing people a year later. So this is a year after the events of this Black Friday sale gone wrong. You've got an axe-wielding slasher that's trying to recreate a Thanksgiving dinner, basically getting revenge on certain types of people. So it has that kind of element of Scream of who's the guy behind the mask? Who's the guy behind the mask? I'll say the gore is over the top and funny. It's almost every like death has some comedic element to it. There is a death scene that's actually from, there's a scene that's actually from the original trailer, fake trailer for Thanksgiving that takes place on a trampoline. I don't want to tell you what happens. It involves a knife and a very sexy young girl on a trampoline. And Alan, you'll be interested in this. She takes off her panties while on this trampoline. It's a very, it goes places I did not see. I'll say this. You know, I've seen a bunch of the films that have opened this weekend in theaters. Thanksgiving is the best film that is playing in theaters that's actually opening new. So fun, super over the top, gory comedy. Eli Roth delivers. It's a little too long. That's the one flaw I would say is this movie. Give me a 90-minute version of this movie. It goes on, it overstays Thanksgiving, just like any real Thanksgiving, overstays its welcome a little bit. But that's probably the worst thing I can say about it. The other thing I could say is that a lot of the teen characters are kind of forgettable. And whatever, like I didn't even care. I don't remember their names. I just, whatever. It's like, there's this guy, this girl who has this boyfriend, but then she broke up with this guy. Like it's all CW stuff. But the great thing is you don't need to get to know them very well because they end up getting murdered. And it's a lot of fun. And there are some things that are just dark that you do not see coming. So strong recommendation for this. I mean, as a horror film, horror comedy, I give it between a 7 and an 8. And I just had a great time. I saw it with a packed audience at AMC Burbank 16, packed, and everybody loved it. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you're going, ah, and then you're laughing your ass off. So strongly recommend Thanksgiving. Let's.
So you're saying that bottomless trampoline girl doesn't have much of a character arc?
Yes, I don't want to say what happens. I'll just say not much of a character arc. Let's see. Do we have any comments about Thanksgiving? I'll say this. It exceeded my expectations. It exceeded my expectations as a film, and I had a really good time.
Yeah, it's sad that this movie is being put up against the Marvels.
Yeah. I hope it does well. I really hope it does well.